Revealed. The incredible journey of a boy who overcame poverty to build a life-changing Honda. The engine sputtered and died. Jake sat frozen in the front seat of the old Honda, feeling as if the world had suddenly folded in on him. Cracked leather seats and peeling paint surrounded him, just like the heavy weight of his family's struggles. This wasn't just a car. It was their lifeline. As tears threatened to spill, Jake's heart raced with the realization that this breakdown could plunge his family into a deeper pit of uncertainty. His father, a devoted veteran, struggled tirelessly with 2 jobs, while his mother served burgers and fries at the local diner. They worked relentlessly, scraping together pennies to keep the lights on. Jake often dreamed of a better future, one where they weren't burdened by constant worry. But now, looking at the broken car, that dream felt farther away than ever. In the ensuing days, the townsfolk rallied around the family. They offered rides and donations, but the kindness only magnified Jake's shame. As he watched people help, the urge to step up and contribute boiled within him. He needed to take charge. Flickering memories of hours spent tinkering with old bicycles and listening to the mechanical hum of engines in friendly neighbors' garages flooded his mind. He discovered a hidden talent for mechanics, a glimmer of hope amidst the backdrop of despair. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jake spent countless hours dreaming of fixing that Honda. With twisted metal and paint stains covering his hands, he felt the community beginning to notice. The whispers of respect followed him through town, and a small, flickering flame of pride ignited in his heart. But that ember dimmed when disaster struck. One fateful afternoon, after piecing together parts scavenged from junkyards, Jake gleefully revealed the refurbished Honda. But what should have been a triumphant moment turned into chaos as the car sputtered violently before finally exhaling a cloud of smoke and dying once more. Disappointment swept over him. His father, torn between tradition and dreams for Jake, couldn't mask the frustration in his furrowed brow. "Sometimes you've got to stick to what we know," he said quietly, shaking his head. Then came the bully, a constant reminder of the weight their family bore. He taunted Jake with every step. "Look at you. Can't fix that piece of junk. Can you?" Jake's cheeks burned and his fists clenched. But deep down, the pressure to defend his family erupted within him. The day came when he faced that bully. His trembling voice rang with a strength he never knew he had. "You don't know anything about us." In an exciting turn, the townspeople rallied to support him, respect blooming around him like springtime flowers. But as he stood proudly before them, the rebuilt Honda a symbol of hope, a haunting question lingered. Could this newfound recognition truly change their situation? Jake's heart raced with the weight of uncertainty, leaving the crowd in silence as he gripped the hood of the car, knowing his journey had just begun. Just days after unveiling the Honda, Jake found himself grappling with a mixture of pride and dread. The townsfolk had rallied behind him, but deep within his heart, a storm brewed. As he had pulled that hood open, hope and fear danced within him like oil and water, refusing to mix. Jake was determined to keep working on the car. He dove into mechanics with a newfound ferocity, scouring the local junkyard for parts and learning from YouTube tutorials late into the night. With every bolt he turned and every wire he connected, he felt momentarily liberated from the weight of his family's struggles. But even in his greatest moments of triumph, shadows of doubt loomed. His fingers were stained with grease, and his clothes bore the scars of his labor. Each time he used the wrench, memories of his father's tired face flashed through his mind. For as hard as they worked, their situation seemed unyielding. Time passed, and though Jake's tenacity grew applauded, the reality of their finances remained a bitter truth. Could fixing the car truly change anything? School became a gauntlet he was unsure how to navigate. The bully's taunts had only grown louder, a relentless reminder that his passion for mechanics was seen by others as a silly dream. "You think you can fix the world? It's just a rusted-out Honda," Tyler sneered one day after gym class. Jake felt the heat rise in his chest. Instead of lashing out, he took a deep breath. "You have no idea what that car means to me," he replied, steeling himself against the wave of shame. But amidst that heaviness, Jake found an unexpected ally. Emma, a classmate with a gift for art, had noticed his persistent struggle. She approached him one afternoon with sketches. "I wanted to draw your Honda," she said, a glimmer of warmth in her eyes. "It looks like it has a story." The sight of her art ignited something within him. Here was a depiction not of failure, but possibility. Jake realized that it wasn't just the mechanics that mattered. The people around him could help rewrite the narrative. One rainy day, he invited Emma to the garage, and soon, they transformed the modest space into a workshop of ideas. Their sessions became filled with laughter, strategy, and shared dreams. Emma discussed designs that could make the Honda stand out, while Jake shared his hopes of building it for more than just transportation. He envisioned creating a space for their community. Together, they brainstormed ways to draw attention to their project, to turn it into something much larger than themselves. In the quiet moments, Jake spoke of his family. Their struggles became not a burden but a testament to resilience. Emma listened, sketching fervently. Characters from stories danced wildly on her pages, images of strength and hope. As days turned to weeks, the Honda transformed not just from rust to shine, but from a symbol of personal struggles to one of unity for the town. But as excitement grew, so did the whispers of the community. What happens when they uncover the truth behind Jake's intentions? Jake stared at the car. It was almost time for a more significant reveal than he had ever planned. Could this be the moment he sought to share his truth? The thought lingered in the air, electric and daunting. Jake looked at Emma, who was carefully painting the hood, each stroke vibrant and courageous. He felt a surge of connection, ready to break free from fear for both him and his family. But as the weight of their past strained against their hope for the future, a familiar figure appeared at the edge of the crowd. Was it the bully again or something more perilous? The energy shifted as the tension in the air thickened. Jake's heart raced. What awaited him now? The familiar figure stepped closer, and Jake's heartbeat echoed in his ears. Tyler, with his usual swagger, had brought a small crowd with him. They were smirking, whispering, as if they could already sense the confrontation brewing. Jake's grip tightened around the wrench he'd been using, a rush of anger mixing with dread. "Look who's trying to be a hero," Tyler called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "What, you think fixing a beat-up car will make you a celebrity?" The laughter from his friends ignited a flame of embarrassment in Jake. He glanced at Emma, who was oblivious to the gathering storm. She was lost in her painting, unaware of the brewing tension. "Leave him alone," Emma said suddenly, her voice filled with unexpected fire. Jake felt a surge of gratitude, knowing she stood up for him. But Tyler just rolled his eyes at her, unaffected. "Oh, what are you gonna do? Draw a picture and make it all better?" he shot back. The crowd chuckled, but something shifted in Jake. He realized he couldn't let fear and doubt sidetrack him now. This was his moment, not just for the Honda but for his own voice. Drawing a deep breath, Jake stepped forward, his voice steady despite the fear knotting in his stomach. "This car means more than you think. It's not just about fixing it. It's about building something for our community, something that can bring us together, not tear us apart." Tyler sneered, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. "Yeah, right. Like a rusted-out Honda is going to unite this town," he scoffed. But Jake could sense his audience loosening, caught by the unexpected strength in Jake's words. "What if it can?" Emma interjected, stepping beside Jake. "Together, we can show everyone what this car means." The crowd paused, shifting from Tyler's mockery to the sincerity standing before them. Jake felt emboldened. "This isn't just a project," he pressed on. "It's about showing that even in our struggles, we can create something beautiful. We can inspire others to overcome their obstacles. I want our story to shine through this Honda." For a moment, The tension in the air was palpable. Tyler was clearly taken aback, and the laughter died down. Jake could see uncertainty flickering across the faces of those who'd come to watch. But Tyler wasn't one to back down easily. With a mocking laugh, he leaned in closer to Jake. "You really think you're going to change anything? No one cares about your dream, Jake. They want to see the crash and burn." Jake's heart pounded in his chest. He could feel every eye on him, a mix of doubt and curiosity. But he locked eyes with Emma, who gave him a reassuring nod. Jake realized this was about more than just confronting Tyler. It was about crafting his own future. Before he could respond, an unexpected voice rang out from the back of the crowd. What if he's right? It was Sam, a quieter student who rarely spoke up. "We do need something to believe in. If Jake can make this work, maybe we can rally around him." A murmur of agreement rippled through the onlookers, and Jake's chest swelled with a mix of hope and disbelief. Could their unity be forged in this moment? Tyler's bravado began to falter. "You really believe in this loser?" He snapped, but his words felt weaker now. The crowd's attention slowly shifted, and Jake felt a crack in the bully's facade. "Maybe, just maybe," Jake said, reclaiming his moment, "we can prove that together we can build something worthwhile. It starts here with this car and this community." Jake's pulse raced, the adrenaline propelling him forward into solidarity. What if he could turn this moment around? He grasped Emma's hand, her warmth grounding him. But the challenge was far from over. Would Tyler accept Jake's challenge, or escalate the confrontation? Jake felt a blend of uncertainty and anticipation. Just as he was about to speak again, he saw Tyler's expression turn fierce. "I promise you, this isn't over," he growled, and as he stepped back, Jake braced himself for the fallout. The moment felt charged, the air thick with possibility. As Jake took a deep breath, one thought consumed him. Was he ready for the battle that lay ahead, not just with Tyler, but within himself? The crowd was still, the tension hanging thick like the humid summer air. Jake's heart raced as he processed Tyler's threat. Tyler's words, designed to cut deep, initially stung, but Jake felt a resolve rising within him. This was a new beginning, not just for the Honda, but for the community he'd longed to uplift. "Let us prove him wrong," Emma whispered, her eyes sparkling with defiance. That little bit of encouragement sparked something in Jake he could hardly contain. "Yeah, let us do this," he shouted, surprising even himself with the force of his voice. "If we can come together for this car, we can show everyone that we care. This is our shot to change the narrative." A clamor arose from the small gathering. Sam and several others stepped forward, nodding in agreement. Their support was unexpected but heartening. It was as if a small flame had ignited, fueled by hope and shared dreams. Jake looked around, meeting the eyes of the crowd, and could feel the shift from skepticism to a tentative belief. Then Tyler erupted in laughter, the sound a sharp, jarring contrast to the encouragement blooming around Jake. "You think a few nice words will change anything? You'll fail, and everyone here will be laughing at you. Just give it up already." But instead of retreating, Jake stepped closer to Tyler. "You may think it's a joke, but if it is, we're ready for the punchline. Try me." His voice was steady, resonating strength amidst Tyler's mockery. The crowd leaned in. Had they really just witnessed a spark of confidence from Jake? It was contagious. "Yeah, we'll show you," someone yelled. Jake's confidence soared. "This isn't about us versus you. It's about all of us, lifting each other up. We can do this together." He could feel Emma's hand squeeze his, grounding him, centering him. In that moment, he realized how much this meant to him, to all of them. It was a chance to turn the tide, to finally make something of themselves beyond the labels tossed their way. Before Tyler could respond, a voice called out from the back, "I'm in. Count me in." Then another echoed, and another. Murmurs of agreement spilled out. This wasn't just Jake's fight anymore. It had transformed into a collective mission. Jake glanced at Sam, who was grinning, bravely standing among the louder voices. "If Jake can face this, so can we. Let us make this car something special. Let us show Tyler and everyone what we're really about." The realization washed over Jake like a wave. The dream wasn't just a car. It was about pride, hope, and a community that needed someone to believe in their potential. As the newfound group formed around the Honda, enthusiasm bubbled in the air, but Jake could also sense the shadows lingering. Tyler's sneer lingered like a storm cloud. He shifted his weight, eyeing the crowd, plotting. Jake felt a shiver of worry. Would Tyler escalate this confrontation further? Just as this thought crossed his mind, Tyler spat out, "You'll regret this. Everyone always does." With that, he turned, his crew following behind, leaving a heavy silence in their wake. Jake exhaled sharply, the tension lifting somewhat, though apprehension still shadowed their victory. The crowd, however, remained steadfast. Jake felt alive, charged with energy. It was time to act. "Let us get going, team. We have work to do." As he rallied everyone, a sense of unity enveloped them. They gathered tools, ideas, and camaraderie, ready to transform the rusted Honda and their dreams. But he couldn't shake the feeling that Tyler wouldn't just watch from the sidelines. Could they really defy him? Could they turn this car into something meaningful, something that would stick? In the corners of his mind, dread tugged at his spirit. The confrontation was just beginning, and as they began to work, one question loomed larger. What would it take to truly change not only this car, but the hearts of all those who doubted them? The sun dipped low, casting golden rays that danced upon the rusted Honda. Jake surveyed the scene, heart swelling with an unexpected pride. The crew worked tirelessly, laughter punctuating their focused efforts. Tools clinked and shifted in hands worn from labor, but there was a lightness in the air, a sense of hope that wrapped around them like a warm blanket. "Hey, Jake, pass me that wrench," Sam called out, grinning widely as he knelt beside the car. Jake's smile mirrored Sam's enthusiasm. They were all in this together now, every person playing a vital role. Emma was nearby, sketching out plans for the modifications while others cleaned and assembled parts. It felt like more than just a car rebuild. It was a rebirth, not only of metal and rust but of their spirits too. As they worked, Jake struck up conversations with everyone. "What do you guys think we should name her?" he asked, wiping sweat from his brow. "Oh, I got it. How about Phoenix? Rising from the ashes," Emma suggested, eyes bright with inspiration. "Perfect," someone shouted from the back. The name echoed through the group as if sealing their mission into reality. But as Jake's excitement grew, he could feel the sharp edge of worry still nipping at his heels. He stole a glance toward the empty spot where Tyler had loomed just hours ago. Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this wouldn't end with mere words. As twilight approached, the group began to tire, but no one wanted to quit. They forged ahead, driven by a newfound solidarity. Jake stepped back to admire their progress. The frame of the car stood tall against the sunset, a symbol of everything they were fighting for. "All right, everyone," he called, gathering their attention. "Let us take a quick break. We've done an amazing job today. But let us not let Tyler's shadow fall over us. We keep moving forward, no matter what." Cheers and shouts filled the air, echoing out into the cooling evening. Suddenly, from a distance, shouts and laughter echoed back. A group approached, a mix of familiar faces and some Jake didn't recognize. His heart sank a little. Tyler's gang was moving closer, and they looked ready for trouble. "Look who's back," Tyler shouted, his voice dripping with arrogance. "I see you're putting your little band of misfits to work. Think it'll change anything?" Jake felt a lump form in his throat, and for a moment, doubt clouded his vision. They had made so much progress, but what if Tyler was right? What if all this effort was just a joke to everyone else? "Nah, Tyler," Jake shot back, finding strength in each breath. "This isn't about you. It's about us. We're building something real here. Something that matters." Tyler rolled his eyes, flanked by his followers as they lounged against their vehicles, their sneers an ugly contrast to the joy Jake felt with his friends. Real? This old junk? Pathetic. But Jake stood firm, a surge of determination pushing through the unease. He turned back to his team, feeling their collective heartbeat. "We refuse to back down," he declared, It didn't matter if Tyler didn't believe in them. They believed in each other. The atmosphere was electric as Tyler approached. "Let us see how long you can keep this up." "Huh? We'll be watching," he taunted before strutting away, his cohorts trailing behind in a cloud of harsh laughter. Jake shook off the confrontation but couldn't ignore the gnawing anxiety blossoming within. The encouragement from his friends was a balm. Yet the threat loomed like a dark cloud. "Let us keep at it, everyone," he said, determination in his eyes. "We're not just building a car, we're building our future. Tomorrow, we'll make more progress. We're in this together." As his crew cheered in response, Jake realized they didn't just have a car to restore, they had each other. But would their unity be enough to withstand whatever Tyler was planning next? As night fell, worry lingered like shadows around the flickering lights of their makeshift workshop. The journey had just begun, but Jake couldn't shake the feeling that the real test was yet to come. What would they face in the days ahead? The sun broke the horizon, spilling light across the makeshift workshop, but today felt different. Instead of excitement, a heavy blanket of tension hung in the air. Jake had barely slept, tossing and turning with doubts gnawing at him. Would their hard work be enough? Could they truly rise above Tyler's threats? The crew had gathered early, their faces determined, but Jake noticed some flickers of uncertainty. He clapped his hands together, trying to ignite their usual spark. "All right, team, let us make today count." But his voice lacked the usual enthusiasm. Even he could sense it. Emma approached him as they rolled up their sleeves. "You good, Jake? You seem a little off this morning." Her brows knitted together, concern shining in her eyes. "Yeah, just thinking about Tyler," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. "What if he does something? What if we can't finish Phoenix? We can't let him get into our heads," she said firmly. "We started this together and we're not backing down. Remember why we're doing this." Nodding, Jake tried to embrace her words, but his mind raced with images of past fights. Tyler had always been the bigger threat. He had taken so much from them. As they began working, he forced his focus back onto the task at hand, tightening screws, wiping down parts. The chatter among the crew began to flow again, a comforting hum that reminded Jake of why they were doing this. Each laugh and shared story soothed his jangling nerves, and soon, he felt the heaviness lift a little. But mid-morning, a deafening engine roar broke through their camaraderie. Jake's heart sank as he recognized the sound. Tyler had returned, revving his motorcycle like a booming alarm. "Nice progress, guys," Tyler shouted mockingly, leaning on his bike with that infuriating smirk plastered across his face. "What's next? A little parade to celebrate your failure?" Jake felt his jaw tighten. Anger surged through him, but he had to stay calm. "We're not failing, Tyler. We're building something real. Why don't you come help instead of tearing us down?" Tyler laughed, an ugly sound. "Help? This junk's beyond help. You all should just quit." His followers cast sidelong glances, some nodding, while others stared blankly at the ground. Jake noticed a new face within that crowd, someone he hadn't seen before. She had fierce eyes and stood a little apart. A flicker of curiosity danced in her gaze as she took in the scene. "Keep talking, Tyler," Jake said, feeling a rush of courage swell. "We'll just keep proving you wrong." His words came out stronger than he felt. Jake turned his back to Tyler, but the look from the new girl lingered in his mind. She was different, not swayed by the bravado. Something about that gave him hope. "Let us get back to it, everyone," he called out, and his crew rallied behind him, picking up tools with renewed vigor as the hours slipped by. The sunlight shifted, painting shadows around them. It felt as if the day was gathering strength for the fight ahead. The gang worked without distraction. Jake glanced at Emma, her sketching absorbed in details, and felt pride swell again. But just as they hit a groove, there was another interruption, this time from voices full of envy and disdain. A few of Tyler's crew were perched against a nearby fence, watching and whispering. Jake's heart dropped as he recognized the glint of a phone snap. They were recording them. "What are they doing?" Emma muttered, glancing back. "They're not watching us build a future. They're waiting for us to fail," Jake said, frustration brimming in his chest. As if sensing the shift, the mysterious girl stepped away from the crowd of Tyler's followers, a fire kindling in her eyes. "You're stronger than they think," she called, her voice fierce. "Don't let them mess with your head. People can build you up or tear you down. You decide." The weight of her words hung in the air, and for the first time, Jake felt a sliver of hope from outside his own circle. Maybe allies were everywhere, waiting to join the fight. But was it enough? With Tyler looming, the worst was yet to come. Jake wasn't sure how to keep the crew and their dreams safe. What was their next move? The sun dipped lower. Shadows stretched across the ground, creating uncertainty. Jake faced the crew, and they all could feel it. The battle was just beginning. Would they withstand Tyler's storm? Would they let fear take root or rise instead? The air thickened with tension as the shadows lengthened, wrapping around them like a predatory embrace. Jake stood at the helm of their makeshift workshop, fingers clenching around a wrench, feeling its solid weight ground him against the uncertainty swirling in his mind. Emma's encouraging words echoed softly, but the fear of Tyler's disruption lingered. "All right, crew," Jake said, trying to command confidence he didn't entirely feel. "Let us focus on the next phase. We're not backing down." The crew looked at him, some faces filled with doubt and others with determination. He couldn't let this be the moment where they faltered as they scattered into their roles. Jake caught the lingering gaze of the new girl once more. She was standing apart from Tyler's crew, her fierce eyes watching closely. She wore a band tee and ripped jeans, and there was something about her presence that piqued his interest. He couldn't help but wonder what brought her here today. The curiosity was fleeting, as the sound of engine revving cut through his thoughts. Tyler, with his band of onlookers, continued his taunts. "You think you can win this? Look at you. Pathetic." Each word pierced deeper than the last, fueling a fire inside Jake. He turned to Emma, who was working diligently, brushing her hands off on her overalls. "We need to show them we're serious. Let us take a break, gather our thoughts," she suggested, and Jake nodded. A moment of silence, away from the mocking, felt necessary. The crew huddled for a quick gathering. "What's our strategy?" one of them asked, glancing toward where Tyler lurked. "We can't let them undermine us. We show them what Phoenix is," Jake urged, an idea forming clearer like the day ahead. "Let us put on a workshop demonstration. Show them what it means to build something with our hands. Let them see what we can do." Enthusiasm flickered to life, and the crew murmured their agreement. The idea of a demonstration sparked excitement, lighting a fire under them. They began discussing plans, tossing ideas around while preparing tools and components. Jake stole another glance at the girl. She stepped closer, an inquisitive glint in her eyes, almost as if she wanted to be part of it all. "Hey," Jake called out, catching her attention. "What's your name?" "Riley," she replied, stepping forward. "I've watched you guys from a distance. I think what you're doing is inspiring. You really can take on Tyler. Want to join us?" Jake offered, gesturing to the assembly of tools and pieces scattered around them. "Help us show Tyler what we can build, what we believe in." Riley considered it for a heartbeat, then stepped across the threshold of fear, a smile breaking through. "Absolutely. Let us show him what real teamwork looks like." With Riley joining their ranks, energy surged through them. They started laying out the framework for the day's demo. Emma quickly sketched out plans, while Jake divided tasks among the crew, feeling that intangible bond strengthen. But even with enthusiasm growing, the feeling of Tyler's shadow loomed heavy. It wasn't just about showing their progress. It was about facing a bully and not flinching. The anticipation hung in the air, charged with the potential for confrontation. As the day progressed, each of them channeled their fears into focus, determination spurring them on. They worked together, laughter and teasing replacing that initial tension. Riley worked seamlessly, fitting right into the team as though she had always been there. But just as the sun began to set, spilling orange and pink hues across the sky, the sound of revving engines jolted them out of their groove once again. Tyler's crew rolled up in front of them, more rebellious and confrontational than ever. Jake's heart raced. This was it. The moment would define them. Would they rise against Tyler's challenges, or would they buckle under the pressure? "Get ready," he whispered to the crew, steeling himself for whatever came next. He felt like the calm before the storm, and moments from now, their resolve would either shine or shatter. Could they really stand united against Tyler, or would their resolve be just another target for his ridicule? The roar of Tyler's engines blasted through the evening air, drowning out the excited chatter of Jake's crew. The anger surged in his veins as he caught sight of Tyler leaning against his motorcycle, arms crossed, a smirk plastered across his face. Confidence exuded from him as though he was an untouchable king, and Jake felt the weight of the challenge ahead. "Look at them, playing dress-up in their little workshop," Tyler shouted, his voice barbed with mockery. "Hope you all brought your babysitters." Jake's stomach twisted. He could see the uncertainty flash over some of his crew. This was the moment where they'd either break or band together. Breathing deeply, he stepped forward, putting more confidence in his voice than he felt. "We build what matters here. Not just metal and parts, but dreams and teamwork. You'll see." Tyler laughed, the sound like shards of glass in the air. "Is that so? I don't think you even know what you're playing at." But as he looked back at Emma and Riley, Jake felt that pulse of unity surge through them. Emma's eyes were fierce and bright, determination flowing from her toward the others. Riley stood tall, her fists clenched, ready to fight back against the awful weight of Tyler's words. They were together in this, his family forged in challenges. The crew began to gather tools, their hands moving like synchronized dancers preparing for a performance. They could feel it in the air, the change, the resolve. "Let us show them what we can really do," Emma yelled, rallying everyone. The tension began to morph into an energy filled with purpose. Jake focused on the assembly, directing them as they tossed ideas around. They envisioned a showcase not only of mechanics but also of what their bond represented. Community. Together, they would build something exceptional. An idea began to form, one that twisted around his heart like a vine. What if we build a custom piece that reflects our values? Something that stands for overcoming odds? Riley's eyes lit up, and she nodded vigorously. "Yes. Let us make it a symbol of hope and resilience. Not just for us, but for everyone who feels like Tyler right now." As they grabbed materials, fitting parts together, the workshop buzzed with excitement and creativity. Each clang of metal on metal became a beat in their heart, a reminder of why they were doing this. They were fighting for a chance, for their voices to be heard. But just when the energy was peaking, Tyler's crew stepped closer, throwing them disdainful glances. "You think you're going to impress anyone with that junk?" one of Tyler's friends sneered. "Watch us," Jake shouted back, feeling that adrenaline rise. It wasn't just about proving something to Tyler. It was about standing up for everything they believed in: friends, family, and the dreams they shared. As twilight deepened, streaks of purple and blue enveloped the sky, and the final piece fell into place for their project. The structure was more than a vehicle. It represented their journey, resilience, and commitment to each other. They felt stronger, fueled by shared purpose. Then Tyler stepped closer, a shadow looming over the last of their daylight. "You call that a project? Just wait until you see what we've got coming. You're going to wish you never picked this fight." The threat slipped through his teeth like poison. Jake felt his heart race. The moment of truth was on their doorstep. Could they stand their ground against Tyler's crew, or would they back down when it mattered most? With a glance at his team, he realized this was more than just a confrontation. It was a battle for their spirits. "Are we ready?" he asked, voice steady yet soft enough to inspire. The crew nodded, resolve solidifying like iron in their veins. "Let us show Tyler what we're made of," he exclaimed as they turned to their project, their triumphing spirit rising to meet the challenge. But in that moment, just as they prepared to face Tyler's crew for the real showdown, a deafening roar echoed through the air. It was a powerful sound, like thunder rolling across the sky. Jake's heart sank as he turned toward the sound, knowing they were in for more than just a fight. What came next would change everything they'd worked for forever. The deafening roar grew closer, drowning out the voices of doubt that lingered in Jake's mind. He felt the vibrations in his chest, a stark reminder of what they were up against. The shadows of uncertainty clung around him like a thick fog. His crew exchanged anxious glances, but the fire in their hearts wouldn't let them back down. They were here for each other. Then, out of the darkness, headlights pierced through the gloom, blinding against the fading daylight. A sleek motorcycle came screeching into view, revving its engine with ferocity that echoed off the walls of the workshop. Jake squinted, trying to make sense of the figure on the bike. It was a girl bold and fierce, with an unmistakable fire blazing in her eyes. When she dismounted, Jake recognized her instantly. It was Chloe, the new girl from town who had stirred a whirlwind of gossip. "What are you doing here?" Tyler sneered, the scorn dripping from his words as he took in Chloe's presence. She didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled confidently, a spark of defiance in the face of the hostility. "I heard there was a challenge brewing. Thought I'd join in." Jake could feel a tide of hope rising with her arrival, like the dawn breaking against the horizon. Chloe had a knack for mechanics that was unmatched. She could see the intricacies most couldn't grasp. She was the missing piece they didn't know they needed. "All right," Emma called out, her eyes brightening like the stars emerging in the sky. "We've got this together." Jake stepped forward, feeling the walls of his anxiety beginning to crumble. With Chloe's help, they could elevate their project beyond anything Tyler could dream up. "Assemble the team," he cried, embracing the surge of renewed energy. "Let us showcase who we are." The crew dispersed, working in a determined frenzy. Tools flew from hand to hand, and laughter bubbled over the hum of creation. Chloe fell into rhythm with Emma and Riley, sharing ideas that spiraled into something larger than they had envisioned. Jake watched them, a swell of admiration washing over him. They were transforming pressure into passion, pressure into purpose. Yet, laughter faded when Tyler's crew moved in again. They'd seen the change in the air, smelled the hope rising amidst the uncertainty. "You think you can stand a chance against us with a bunch of teary-eyed friends?" one of Tyler's posse shouted, full of contempt. Jake's heart thudded in his chest. It wasn't just about machinery anymore. They were fighting for their dreams, their beliefs. "This isn't just about building," he called back, his voice firm. "It's about standing together. It's about hope." The words hung in the air, charged with power. Chloe stepped forward, eyeing Tyler with unyielding courage. It was more than just a personal battle now. It became a challenge that resonated deeply within them all. As the sun dipped low, streaks of orange and crimson infused the sky, and the unmistakable roar of engines pulsed through the air again. Tyler's crew lined up their bikes, showcasing their polished machines glimmering in the twilight. Every ounce of intimidation dripped from their engines, each roar a threat accompanied by a show of bravado. Pausing, Jake caught Chloe's eye. "We can meet them head-on, but we have to be smart," she urged, her voice steady yet powerful. "Let us use what we've built as our voice. We need their attention." Taking a deep breath, Jake nodded. The stakes had risen drastically, and the battle lines were drawn in the dirt. He was no longer worried about just his crew, but about standing up for every kid who felt defeated just like Tyler had once made him feel. But a sinking realization hit him as he prepared for the showdown. What if Tyler had an ace up his sleeve? What if they weren't ready for what was coming next? "Get ready," he yelled, adrenaline surging through his veins as the two crews squared off. The final clash loomed, for the fight wasn't just Diesel versus Dreams. It was about the spirit of everyone whose voices had been lost in silence. And as he raised his gaze in determination, he wondered, could they truly rise together against the fear that threatened to consume them? The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a fiery glow over the makeshift workshop. Jake's heart drummed in his chest, each beat echoing with a mixture of fear and resolve. He felt the electricity in the air, a tingling anticipation that signaled the climax of their journey. The crew stood firm, rallied around the evolving Honda, the essence of their collective spirit glowing brighter than the fading sunlight. "Are you all ready?" Jake shouted, his voice loud and unwavering. Their faces were grim yet filled with determination, ignited by everything they had overcome: the struggles, the ridicule, but most of all, the support they found in one another. With a roar, Tyler and his crew circled the workshop, bikes gleaming, engines revving like a pack of wolves ready to pounce. Jake shivered, feeling vulnerability creep toward the edges of his resolve. "Stay strong. This is our time," he called out, feeling Chloe's presence beside him, steady and fierce. "This isn't just about the car anymore. It's about everyone who felt belittled by someone like Tyler," Chloe declared, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. The atmosphere shifted as strength radiated through their makeshift family. Jake's grip tightened around the wrench, transforming his anxiety into an unbreakable determination. Tyler stepped forward, smirking as he leaned casually against his motorcycle. "You really think this rusty old piece of junk is going to win anyone over? You're dreaming." His words fell like stones, but Jake felt something shift inside him. This was their moment. "Listen up," Jake shouted. "It's not about the cars we drive. It's about the lives we build. We took this Honda and made it something greater. It's a symbol, a testament to teamwork, to hope, and to dreams." His voice echoed, resonating like a rallying cry. Tyler's laughter erupted, but it felt hollow, overshadowed by the earnestness of Jake's crew standing behind him. "Look at these losers," Tyler shouted. "You think telling a story through some crummy car is going to matter?" Then, in a bold move, Riley stepped forward, confidence emanating from her. "We're not just telling a story, Tyler. We're showing everyone that we can rise above the noise. We're proving this town can be a place of support instead of ridicule." Jake felt a rush of pride as more members from the crowd chimed in. "Yeah, we're done being quiet," shouted Sam, his fists pumping in the air. They began chanting, "Together, together, together." With every repetition, the echoes bounced off the walls, lifting Jake's spirit. A vibrant wave of excitement washed over their workshop, uniting them further. They were no longer just a ragtag group of kids. They were a movement. Jake fought against the doubts that still clung to him. What if Tyler had something planned? But in that moment of unity, all doubts faded. "Let us show them Phoenix," he yelled, the name now carrying the weight of everything they had endured. "Let us build something greater than any of us can imagine." Tyler faltered, perhaps sensing the shift in energy. It wasn't just fear they faced. It was the undeniable strength of a community ready to defend itself. And as Jake turned back toward his crew, he felt an electric surge of hope. They finished the modifications on the Honda, their final touches coming together cohesively, like a tapestry woven from diverse threads. The moment had arrived. Jake beckoned them closer, the final specs laid before them. "Are you ready to reveal our creation?" He mustered a grin that reflected the pride swelling within him. With one powerful motion, they pulled the tarp off the Honda, revealing a sleek, beautifully transformed vehicle that glimmered in the moonlight, a promising testament to their hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. The crowd gasped, eyes wide in disbelief. "This isn't just a car," Jake exclaimed. "It's a reminder that all things are possible when we believe in one another." A surge of applause erupted among their group, and even the townspeople nearby looked on in admiration. Tyler swallowed hard, the smirk waning from his face, flickers of doubt creeping in as he watched the enthusiasm flourish around the Honda. For all his bravado, Jake sensed vulnerability in Tyler now. Jake took a step forward, heart pounding as he faced Tyler. "You don't have to keep doing this. We can work together. There's a place for you too. This isn't about us versus you. It's about lifting everyone up." Tyler hesitated, the tension palpable. "Why would I join you losers?" he scoffed, but the uncertainty in his tone betrayed him. "Because even you deserve to be part of something greater than yourself," Jake replied, voice steady, belief shining through. The crowd shifted, murmurs of nods and encouragement surrounding them. The wave of unity washed over them once more, and Jake found hope blossoming where fears had once taken root. "Anyone can change," Chloe added, stepping beside Jake, her eyes fierce and bright. What you need is already there in front of you. Take that step, Tyler. Time stretched as the silence enveloped them, a fragile moment infused with possibility. Jake inhaled deeply, waiting for Tyler's response, his heart racing with the weight of anticipation. Finally, Tyler's expression softened, just a little. The weight of his role as a bully seemed to shift, if only for a moment. "What if I do want more?" he murmured, as the walls around him began to crack. "Then join us," Jake urged, longing for transformation not just for them, but for the community that deserved reconciliation. Under the glow of starlight, surrounded by warmth, hope flourished. They had all come together, the underdogs, the fighters, the dreamers, all united by a simple, shared purpose. With every heartbeat, Jake realized the truth in their purpose. They were not simply rebuilding a car, but reconstructing bonds and healing hearts. Proudly standing at the forefront of this journey, with the community surrounding him, Jake smiled. This is what change looks like. This is what hope feels like. And as the echoes of unity reverberated around them, he knew that this was only the beginning of their story. Now it's time for you to be part of the story. Subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss these exclusive journeys and transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how powerful unity can be. Only true fans understand the importance of standing together.